Welcome to the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast, where we break down Bendis' iconic run on Ultimate Spider-Man, issues 1 through 160, and there's 1610. I'm Zach, and joining me today is a thread in the rich tapestry of life, your friend and mine, John Opat.
We're back.
Wearing my Ultimate Spider-Man shirt today, so you know this has got to be a good one.
I love that, and I'm not coughing.
Dude, you look like you're dying.
Sorry, webheads. I must be having a coughing cold.
Wow. Thoughts and prayers.
How was your week?
Dude, it was good. I started it off on a high note. I went with my buddy, John Opat, to a thing for the Indianapolis Colts 2006 Super Bowl team. We saw Peyton Manning, among other heroes of our childhood.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
It was simultaneously awesome and corny, right?
I don't think it was corny at all.
I mean, it is a little bit loser behavior to be having a celebration ceremony for a Super Bowl 19 years ago where you drop confetti and recreate the Lombardi ceremony.
The very ending of that, where they did that, was a little corny. I'm sure if they had messaged me, I could have spitballed some better closing ideas in about 10 minutes. But that was like 2 minutes of the 2-hour thing.
I know.
I don't know. That was pretty cool. For the listener, we haven't really explained. I mean, you kind of did, but it was a panel of like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Dwight Freeney. Let's see, I'll try to get them all. Jeff Saturday, Dallas Clark, Tony Dungy, and it was hosted by Jim Nance. And they just like talked about, that like team, which is like the best. I mean, dude, that was the best thing ever. If they had maybe Edger and James, Joseph Adai up there would have made it like the best thing ever.
Yeah, because Edger and James wasn't on the team.
Yeah, but it still would,
I was a little surprised we didn't get a Bob Sanders or Robert Mathis appearance.
Well, Robert Mathis was there.
Was he?
Zach stepped up to pee at the stupidest time.
Oh no.
The Colts get the interception to win the AFC Championship game, blah blah blah. Nobody cares. And they're like going through the season, right? So when they get up to that point and they've just done the biggest thing of the season, basically, Zach's like, I've got to pee. And right after that, they went to the crowd and they were like, Robert Mathis is here in the crowd. Everyone give him a round of applause. And they named like 8 or 9 players. It was actually the first person that they named was Marlon Jackson because it happened right after the Marlon Jackson interception.
Yeah, I knew that was like the highlight of the season that everyone was going to go crazy for. And it did get a standing ovation. And as soon as everyone stood up to clap, I was like, this is my chance to, because we were in the middle of the aisle. I was like, I'm just going to sneak through here while everyone's standing. And everyone else had the idea. They were like, I have to pee, but I've got to wait to catch Marlon Jackson's interception and clap like a seal. Because no sooner did I get out of the bathroom and there was like a line of 30 guys trying to get in.
It was pretty cool though. Did you have any major takeaways?
It was a lot of fun. A lot of those guys are very funny. And John pointed something out. He said it seems like some of these guys are interviewing for head coaching jobs or something. Like Jeff Saturday, who famously was the Colts interim head coach for a second. He almost was giving like interim. What did I say?
I don't know.
Okay. He was almost giving like politician answers, right? And he was like talking as if he was someone who is looking for a job.
He had a lot of like things in the gun ready to say. It felt like, like when stuff would happen, he had like prepared stories to like tell. Is that how?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by like politic answers? Kind of.
It felt a little bit rehearsed. It felt like they had maybe run through it once.
And weirdly, like he was the person that was like sitting closest to Jim Nance, who was like doing the panel. He was like the seat number 1, and then Peyton was seat number 2, and then Dungy was all the way down at the end. I don't know. I think Saturday might be the coach coming up. I think he was interviewing.
I mean, Irsay loves him.
And we found out that Marvin was playing with just blacked out after concussions.
Oh, yeah. Apparently he got his lights turned off at the AFC Championship game and didn't know what he was doing out there. But, I mean, listeners, you know us well enough to know that this is like something that was made just for us. While I say it was corny, like at one point John looked at me and said, "Oh, the Patriots social media is going to have a field day with this." That's like what I mean by it was corny, but it was also everything I ever wanted and didn't know that I wanted.
Definitely. Yeah, that was so cool. I would have been bummed to miss that. You know, I'm surprised they didn't advertise it more, because I've told some friends that I went and saw that, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, I also had never heard it until like the day before when Zach invited me.
It was all over Peyton's socials like 3 months ago.
Well, very cool. What else? Yeah. What else is going on? We have a lot to talk about today.
We do. I have a list of things, and if we don't get to all of them this week, we'll come back to some of them. I know you want to talk about the Captain America movie, which I did see.
And we have to talk about Invincible.
There's been talk about Invincible
since our last debriefing.
I don't know, John, if you ever watched Supernatural, but Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins are joining the boys this season. So we have at this point
This is just becoming.
We're just a pop cultural podcast.
No. This is The Boys is just becoming Supernatural.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They now have the director and all of the stars.
Yeah, why is that? That's weird.
I love it. I think it's funny. And I have a theory. I guess we'll talk about it now so we get it out of the way and don't have to talk about it again. But I have a theory that this is all a red herring, right? Jared and Misha are going to show up for like 2 seconds and be some kind of Vought heroes that we've never seen before. And they're going to get like viscerally lasered or ripped in half by Homelander within 5 minutes of being on screen.
I don't know.
I don't think they're actually going to add 2 new important characters in the 5th season and final season of this show.
I was trying to think of what I would even like more. The Boys seems to be becoming like just all references to things, you know?
Yeah.
And now we're just going to get more. Oh, these guys were in Supernatural. I don't know. It really bothered me when we were watching the president putt Dakota Bob. He was putting in his office in one episode, and he missed a putt. Oh, I touched my mic. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I know that's loud for everybody. He was putting, and he missed a putt and said balls. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's from Supernatural. That's his catchphrase in Supernatural. And then 30 seconds later, he missed another putt and said balls. And I was like, yeah, we heard. It's a thing from Supernatural. We're in The Boys now, okay? We don't, it's that they did it twice, and now they've pissed me off about the references.
The Boys answers the age-old question, what if Supernatural was gorier, woker, and about superheroes?
Which is what we all wanted from Supernatural.
That's what I wanted from it.
Well, sweet. I'm sure that they will be good. I like that actor. I don't know who the woman is that you named.
It was no woman. Misha Collins. That was Castiel.
I don't watch the show enough.
Okay. He's like
Castiel.
He's like the third main character of the show.
I recognize him. Well,
he's
they'll
cool.
Both probably be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, have you seen the Mr. Beast Squid Games thing?
I refuse to watch it.
I haven't watched it, but I did watch a video of someone talking about it, which is how I consume my media these days.
Sure.
And there was one game that I wanted to talk to you about. So it's they're divided up into like 4 teams, right? There's maybe like 125 people left on each team. So I don't know, 600 people total, 500 people total. And each team has to designate a captain. And basically what this game is, the captain is going to just like be standing in front of a box, and Mr. Beast is going to gradually increase the bribe. And when they hit the button, they get that money, but their entire team is eliminated. And each team has to pick their captain. You know, that's going to be like, I will not take this bribe. Like, you know, and then, so that's first when I was like, oh, I want to talk to Zach about this. We got to see what our numbers are here. And then the captains all get up there and they start and they find out not only when they press the button do they get the money, their team is eliminated, obviously, but they are not eliminated. So they get the money and they get to stay. So I think I'd be really good at getting picked to be the captain for this.
You think so?
Yes, because I am a man of my word, and I think I could convey that.
And then betray it.
But I am also a realist, and I don't think I'd be lying when I told my team, look, if I say I'm not going to push this button, I'm not going to push it. But then, right, dude, I would probably crack pretty quickly, probably about 200 grand, and I'm pushing that button.
Wow, that's what your integrity costs.
I guess so. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on this game?
As you were describing this, I already was formulating my plan, and
exactly.
I would bleed him dry. Honestly, I would like go in knowing how much Mr. Beast is worth. You know,
the thing is, there's 4 captains though, and any of them can push the button and the game ends.
Then
you don't get to, you know, if you have a number that you're like, oh, this gets to 500,000, dude, I can't turn that down. You know, it's too much money for 125 strangers. But if someone else pushes it at 100 grand, well, now you've lost your opportunity for 100 grand, right?
So this is what I would do, at least in my head, where I'm the hero.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
I would negotiate with my team, and I would say, okay, what number are you guys comfortable with me accepting? And then I will split it evenly amongst all of us. And if they say, I mean, it's going to be a small cut for everyone, but, you know, if they say, you know, I would be happy getting eliminated from this game, but get a guaranteed 10,000 in my pocket, I'd be like, okay, cool. Whatever I have to accept for everyone in the group to get 10,000, that's what I will take.
But then you can't betray them.
Well, that's the point.
I guess you actually have to be a good guy.
I reject the premise of Mr. Beast's challenge.
Okay, so your team says like no.
Then I don't press the button, and we all move forward.
What a guy. So unfortunately, I don't know how this game ends. I'd love to say like this is how it ended, but the number exponentially grew, and it got up to $1 million, and no one had pressed the button. And it is counting by ones, you know, quickly. And as the number gets higher, it's counting quicker and quicker and quicker. But the episode ended on a cliffhanger where it looks like one of the people is about to press it when it passes $1 million. Which you cannot blame someone for doing that.
I absolutely can. John, do you not know it is written, the love of money is the root of all evil?
Dude, did you know that you're on a game show to win? Like, I don't even know what the grand prize is. Maybe I'm going to look it up really quickly, because that changes it also, right? Because if you are one of 400 people and one of 400 people that has a chance to win $5 million, or you could guarantee win $1 million. The return on your expected return is way higher, right? And that's the point of the show. You're on a game show.
Yeah,
there's betrayal involved in game shows.
Well, that, I guess many people have a price that their integrity can be bought at.
I wonder which of us would be better on Survivor. Anyway, I thought that was a fun game, and yeah. Let it be known, I wasn't lying to my team when I said I wouldn't betray them. Situations just change, and I know that about myself.
Noted.
Okay, good. We all learned Zach's a really good guy. Speaking of which, we maybe have to run through this episode a little quickly because he has to go feed the homeless afterwards, just like he always does.
No. I'm going to a house show in Chicago.
What's a house show?
It's a show in a house. So that's why
self-explanatory.
I have to get there super early because they didn't sell tickets online. So like if, they say doors open at 6 and we get there at 6 and there's a line around the neighborhood, we're not getting in.
Yeah. And you want a good seat. You want to get the lazy boy.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up on a kitchen stool.
No.
Well, dude, that'll probably be pretty fun. Should we do Spider-Man?
Yeah, let's send it over to a word from our sponsor, the Mr. Beast Games.
Every business says they're better. But the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
What issues are we getting into?
I'm glad you asked, John. Today we're getting into Ultimate Mystery number 1 and number 2. This is a continuation of Ultimate Enemy, but they decided to change the name of the series for some reason because I guess issue 1s sell better, so they're just making it more confusing to follow.
That is so stupid.
That's my biggest gripe about this.
That seems so short-sighted.
Yeah, it is. That's honestly, I think that's why manga beats American comic sales, even in America, because people are like, where do I start? Chapter 1. And then you just keep going. Whereas American comics, reboot and have spin-offs and alternate universes and all this stuff, and people can't follow it.
Yeah. I mean, the Thing is a purple ghost man now.
Well, spoilers.
No, we already knew that.
We knew something was happening. You thought he might be blowing up.
No, he popped out of the Thing as a purple ghost man and said, "Hi, guys."
Oh, okay. That's right. Anyways, this one's written by Brian Michael Bendis, penciled by Rafa Sandoval, inked by Roger Benet, colored by Matthew Wilson, and lettered by VC's Joe Caramagna. We open on S.H.I.E.L.D. agents at Project Pegasus headquarters in Wyoming. We remember that place, right, John?
It's in the Avengers, Zach.
That's
also where they're studying the Tesseract.
Oh, yeah, it is. We've also seen it in these comics.
Yes. Yeah, a Watcher showed up here.
They fought the sexy lizard ladies here.
That's right.
So two guys are walking around giving it exposition for anyone who doesn't know what Project Pegasus is. And
they said, hey, this is the place from the movie The Avengers. Remember Loki was there and he took over some people?
I love when people fly or drive all the way out to Wyoming and then get there and say, so what's this place?
Turns out they had 12 hours to ask in the car.
Right. Turns out Carol Danvers identified it as a place that needed extra protection from whatever attacked Roxxon, which is smart. And the main guy, more like Roxoff, yeah. There's a blonde guy who's like a guard soldier dude, and then there's a guy with black hair who just got here. And he's joking around with the guards, and they don't really understand what's happening. And they're like, so are you here to replace us or something? And he's like, no, I'm here to protect you. And they ask,
how can we describe his demeanor?
He's kind of tongue-in-cheek. He's kind of a jokester.
He's like when like a villain shows up to something and like they know more than the people who are like there, so he's like speaking matter-of-factly, like confidently, like, I know this better than you, but he's also like in a way that is semi-threatening because, I don't know.
But it's also cryptic. Like,
yes,
he's talking like this is a game to him, and these guards are maybe a little beneath him.
Okay, that's a better way of describing it than I did. Now with our two descriptions, I think that now people will have a clear picture. I thought maybe he is, right? Spoilers. But I was thinking that this is a guy that's like going to be here to like rob this place or, something. He seemed a little villainous to me.
He definitely has a deal. We don't know what that deal is yet.
Yeah.
But he says he's there to protect them, and they ask how he's going to do that, and he's like, let me show you. And he transforms into a guy in scary-looking armor with a Roman helmet.
We skipped the Hall of Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to run through some of those?
Well, I thought it'd be fun if you did, because I actually don't recognize like any of these except for the Captain America shield.
Yeah. So we've got a busted up Cap shield. We've got what looks like a little Ark of the Covenant. We've got some kind of armor. We've got a...
You're not doing a good job of this. I thought you'd be... We've got some kind of armor. We've got a thing that looks like the Ark of the Covenant. I could have done this, Zach.
Well, then do it.
It looks like there's like an Ant-Man helmet. Is that...
Yep.
Or,
That's what I would have called it.
Yeah. There's like a golden snitch thing. That's like...
John, you're boring me.
Okay.
I thought you had something ready.
There's a red Tesseract and Thor's hammer's there. Anyway, no, I didn't. I wanted Zach to tell me what the things I didn't know were, and he didn't know them either.
Possibly an Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, where's that?
This panel.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, very cool. That's awesome.
God, we're so good at this podcast. So the dude transforms into a guy in a scary looking armor with a Roman helmet and what seems to be an arc reactor, but probably isn't. And he says, call me Captain Marvel. Nick Fury does. And the soldiers are like, Nick Fury's alive? And Captain Marvel smiles creepily and says, I didn't say that. Who said that?
He's kind of a yuckster.
Yeah. He's very full of himself.
Yeah.
So we cut to Spider-Man swinging through Manhattan, followed by Jessica Drew. And she says, hey, Spider-Man. And he says, no. And she's like, no. And he goes, no, I don't have time for you today. And she's like, what? And Peter says, I have pressing issues and I can't be dealing with my female clone right now. And she starts explaining that they're trying to get to the bottom of the same issue and that she was at Roxxon when it blew up and got its rocks off. And he's like, oh my God, did you cause it? And she's kind of rightfully offended at the suggestion. She proves that she knows what he's thinking and feeling because they're basically the same person to a certain extent. And they keep emphasizing that to a certain extent. She'll say things like, we once shared the same memories and this and that, but it's clear that she now is trying to be her own person and go off and do her own thing. This is a really long conversation, and it jumps back and forth between two, I guess, main points, which is they're talking about what's immediately relevant to this story and rehashing the facts of the case about Roxxon. And they're also kind of talking more in depth about their relationship to each other than we've ever seen them do. And I think that part of the conversation is more interesting overall. Would you agree, John?
Yes, that's the part that I remember more.
Okay. So I'm going to focus on that because we all know more or less what's going on or what is confusing about what's going on with Roxxon. But
don't they just say like, "Oh, this thing's probably going to come back for us again," right?
They do come to that conclusion. But she's like, I know what you're doing. You're swinging around, hoping the answer will come to you. But secretly, you're really hoping you find a distraction along the way that you can punch and take your mind off of this ultimate mystery. I added that last part. Did you like that, John?
I thought that was in the comic. I was like, oh, title of the comic. That's it.
Nope, I did that thing. You can point and say, hey, they said the thing.
Wow, they did. Well, yeah.
Zach said the thing.
Well, they didn't. You did.
Right. I made it better.
Yeah.
Really. And he's like, okay,
that's
well,
that's like an Invincible when the title flashes.
Dude, I loved how they did that in the latest episode where the guy said his name like 25 times.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking about it with you.
Peter says, okay, so what am I thinking right now? And Jessica says, you're wondering if I'm gay or straight because you're straight and I'm a female clone of you. And John, I've been wondering that question ever since she first arrived, right?
I look at people as more than their sexuality, so that it doesn't really matter to me.
Wow, you're so much better than me. And here I thought I got you earlier with the class solidarity.
Yeah. You won't betray people, but I'm better still.
But I'll reduce them to their sexuality.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's an interesting theory because it really becomes, what makes you you? Is it your inherent personality and memories, or is it your biological sex?
I would assume that she is probably bi, but mostly into women, if I had to guess.
I think that's probably a solid assumption. And a lot of that hinges on whether or not Johnny was lying about them making out.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, now I'm going to switch that to just bi.
I think Johnny was lying.
Oh, well.
I think that was some locker room talk. I think he went back and told his boys that he made out with a hot girl when he actually got rejected.
And no one's ever done that before.
Yeah, that's just my headcanon. They go back to talking about the organism that attacked and what all of its targets were and what it could mean.
I think that they made out.
Okay.
I'll just say, does it ever come up again?
It never comes up again.
I think that they made out.
I'm open to thinking they made out because I also think Peter would theoretically make out with Johnny if just like out of curiosity. But it's interesting here that she says, that you're straight. Like she knows and Peter knows that Peter is straight. That's what they're saying on the page. So unless they're both just lying and hiding the fact that he's into Johnny, I don't know what to make of this. I think they're probably both a little bi.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll move on.
We can move on. Have we spent enough time on Peter Parker and Jessica Drew, clone Peter Parker's sexuality?
There's never enough time. They go back to talking about the organism that attacked and what all of it means. And Jessica says she's been trying to take down Roxxon because they created her. And that's not true. I literally double checked. I was like, I don't think that's true. And I double checked and it's not.
Didn't we talk about that last week? We were like, wait, didn't Nick Fury create the clones?
Doc Ock made the clones working for the CIA. So there's no aspect of Roxxon that's involved. But she thinks that it is, I guess.
Well, she is a stupid teenager.
Really?
She's a baby. All the superheroing aside and everything, she's just a kid. She doesn't have a fully developed frontal lobe yet.
Well, she also was born this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She was like grown in a lab, but she is a baby.
Yeah.
And Jessica tells Peter that they're going to team up and they swing away together. And we cut to the Fantastic Four. Ben is transforming into
Do you think Peter would make out with Jessica Drew?
No, I think they would see it as incest.
Okay. Spend a lot of time thinking about each other's parts here.
This isn't the Loki show.
That's even how they swing away.
Oh, yeah.
He says, you're still thinking about my lady parts, aren't you? And Jeter's like, yeah.
Yeah, she said something weird. She's like, wait, do you think the only thing stopping you from killing people is having lady parts?
So, I don't know. Yeah, they did do that in Loki, didn't they? That was weird.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't know. I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it.
Let's change topics.
Yes. Okay, so we cut to the Fantastic Four, and Ben is transforming into a bigger, grosser version of the Thing and is killing everyone while yelling, "I can't stop!" And he's killed Reed, he's killed Johnny, he's killed a bunch of Hearth Michelsons. The last person he's trying to kill is Sue. And the very next page, Sue Storm jolts awake from her nightmare and seems to be sleeping in a hospital bed with Johnny and one next to her. And Ben walks up and says, "How you feeling? You fainted last night." And we get the reveal that he's just a normal dude now.
Interesting that she would have this nightmare and not him. I wonder what that says.
That is interesting.
What would a dream analyst say about that? Probably that she is worried about the relationship that they have just begun. You know, maybe.
Or,
yeah,
she likes Ben but is scared of the Thing. Maybe he really was an unlovable freak. I think that's the moral of this comic.
That's probably it too.
Yeah.
As soon as she sees him, she's like, "Oh my God, Ben, you're a handsome man. Thank God.
Thank God you have skin.
Thank God you got your rocks off."
So they all have a pretty happy reunion, and Ben says, "Watch this," and he starts glowing purple. He says, "I got all my powers and none of the orange rocks. The guys upstairs think the rock was like a cocoon." And they're like, "And now you're a beautiful butterfly."
I like that your impression of him. He still talks like a big dumb rock monster.
Why wouldn't he? And Nick Fury and Carol Danvers appear in the doorway and tell the Fantastic Three that S.H.I.E.L.D. is under attack and need their help. And John, while we're on the subject today...
Did you mention that they both say Reed would have loved this?
Yeah, I didn't mention it.
That's like a reoccurring line that is in both of our issues, is like how much Reed would have loved Ben being a purple man.
That's right. Well, kind of the backstory there, which is no secret, is like in the regular Fantastic Four.
Reed like blames himself for turning into the Thing, and he keeps trying to fix him and stuff like that.
Yes, he's the
Sorry
smartest.
To cut you off.
You knew where I was going. He's the smartest man on Earth, and he can solve any problem, except he can't fix his mistake that ruined his best friend's life, no matter how much he tries. And
wow.
So,
what a I don't know, what a
Shakespearean tragedy.
Oh, Zach, you're all over it today. Yes, thank you.
It is. It really is. I think the best comics have some element of like Shakespearean tragedy to them.
Well, I was thinking that's isn't that like a common trope? Like I'm trying to think of like he can control time, but he's never got enough time for his family.
Sure, I mean it's the
but he can never make it on time to a date, huh?
Right. I mean it's the Parker luck. It's X-Men power fantasy. You have power, but you're hated and feared. It's the defining aspect of tragedy in like literature or art is you give a character what they want, but you withhold from them what they need.
Oh, I like that. Wow. If there's any young writers listening, that was pretty good. Surely you didn't come up with that yourself.
No, that's like a common thing.
Okay, I thought I was like, that sounds good. What's it, Faustian? Isn't that a Faustian thing, kind of?
I don't know.
Faustian deal is like the deal with the devil where you get something, but he's really going to take something.
Sure, it'll cost you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of similar. Anyways,
okay, do go on, Zach.
While we've been talking about sex and sexuality this whole issue, I said in the last time when they were fighting in the bathroom, I was like, I could see this ending with Carol and Nick.
You did.
Blowing each other's heads off or just blowing each other.
Louise.
The way they're standing in the doorway right now, they look like they just boned.
I didn't ever think that. I thought, oh man, Nick Fury's such a cool guy. Look at him leaning against the door.
They've gotten pretty comfortable together, moments after.
I wonder if there's some sort of a parallel here between Peter and clone woman Jessica Drew and Nick Fury and female. Dude, my brain is going. Why can't I think of words?
Dude, it's that coughing fit earlier.
Yeah, that must be what
took
it
all
was.
the oxygen from your brain. I don't think there's
his female counterpart where they're kind of I don't know. It's similar.
I don't think it is. To each his own. I mean, I think they just f***ed, so.
Yeah, and not 5 minutes ago I asked you, do you think Peter and Jessica Drew would ever hook up? So maybe they're sort of similar.
Nick Fury and Carol Danvers are in no way related.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're the same person, but just gender swapped.
Right.
Like how Peter and Jessica Drew have that relationship kind of.
But they're not.
How Nick Fury and Carol Danvers are both they think in the same way, right? Even in the last issue, they were saying things at the same time and finishing each other's sandwiches.
They were. That's what I'm saying. Nick and Carol have chemistry.
Okay. Anyway, there was a video back in the day. I think I've told you about this, or it was an article that crack.com and those people that made videos. I know I've brought that up before, but anyways, there was an article that was if you met your clone, would you? And it was called or fight. And it was would you start having sex with each other or would you start fighting each other? It's tough. Loki, they start hooking up. The Prestige, Hugh Jackman immediately kills his clones. This is a tough call. I would do neither because I'm not a psychopath.
Right? I'm that seems like two extreme options.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to be around them. I don't think I'd want to interact. I'd say move very far away from me and let's try and forget this.
Yeah. Well, they probably do that in some show also. It's a third option. Okay.
That seems to be Peter and Jessica's deal.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm getting us so off track. Please continue.
All right. We cut back. Oh, yeah. So they stand in the doorway. Mom and Dad just came out of the bedroom and they're like, kids, S.H.I.E.L.D. is under attack. We need your help. You guys are all deputized S.H.I.E.L.D. agents now. And the Fantastic Three are like, golly gee willikers, you mean it? They're psyched. And we cut back to Project Pegasus, and there's this kind of funny bit that I like. It's literally us looking at everything in Project Pegasus, and we're like, I don't know what that is. The guy, Captain Marvel, says, what's this? And they say, that's the Wand of Watum. And he's like, what does it do? And they say, you'll have to ask Watum. And he says, is that a person? And they're like, I don't know.
That is funny.
I loved that bit because that's how these guys would be. Something gets captured by the Ultimates, it gets put in a glass case, they get told to watch it, they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
The alarm goes off and Captain Marvel flies off to deal with whatever is attacking the base or showing
Well,
up.
this is important. We also get a reference for why Captain Marvel is talking so weird and so quippy and everything and it's because they're why are you acting like this? are you making fun of us? What is happening here? And he's like, no, I thought I was being cool. And they're like, why would you think you're being cool? You're kind of being a dick, dude. And he's like, because I watch American movies. I thought I was acting like a cool person. And they're like, no, that's not how cool people act.
Yeah, that is funny. It's very, alien trying to impersonate Earth being. It's like the Shapesmith, but completely opposite.
Yeah.
Because Shapesmith impersonates a dork.
And Shapesmith also had some fun moments in this new Invincible.
He's so good. Okay, I definitely lost my place. Okay, so the alarm goes off and Captain Marvel flies off to deal with it. And he's fighting someone we can't see. And he throws his enemy to the ground and asks what their name is. And we see a boy glowing yellow who says, "My name is Rick Jones. Don't hit me. I was sent here. The Watchers of the Universe sent me here to stop what's going to come."
We've seen him before.
John, you remember Rick Jones?
Barely.
He's the chosen one.
Yes, he did nothing in that big where half the world died.
He literally got his powers and they're like, "You're here to stop some terrible event." And then he fell into a coma. An ultimatum happened, and we were like, well, there goes his chance. He shit the bed.
Well, I guess this is the event, huh?
This is the real event. He's back.
That's kind of interesting. Sort of.
And Captain Marvel asks what's coming, and Rick says, "I don't know. All they said was, destruction."
All they said was, it would be an ultimate mystery.
Roll credits. And the issue ends. So that was it. That was the whole issue.
What do we think?
Not much happened.
I thought the same thing.
I love this event. I've loved it so far. But this issue in particular kind of dragged, and I gave it a 5.5 out of 10 Wands of Watum.
Okay. Wow, that's really low.
I know it wasn't the worst thing ever. I liked the conversation with Jessica, but all in all,
but that's probably the only thing that really happened. The stuff with Captain Marvel was pretty boring.
Yeah, it's just kind of a forgettable one.
Definitely. Okay, I'll also give it 5.5 Wands of Watum.
All right. You want to see if this next one's any better?
Yes. So, issue Ultimate Mystery number 2. So, we open on the Roxxon Corporation, and there's a lady there that's applying for a job. Her name's Dr. Julia Carpenter. Are we supposed to recognize this woman as Jessica Drew as soon as we see the first panel?
You can kind of tell by the hair, but also we've never seen her plain face without the mask illustrated by this penciler. So you'd be forgiven if you were like, wait, who's just this random brunette lady? But I think it becomes pretty clear. I mean, she's wearing red and her hair is big and brown. And if we know who Julia Carpenter is, we know that that's one of the Spider-Woman identities in the main universe. We can kind of place it together.
See, okay, I don't know that. So anyway, reading it from my perspective, this woman is coming in and interviewing at Roxxon, and she is also being a little mysterious and coy, and you can tell she knows more than she's letting on as well. They say the interviewer is like, "Oh, I see you used to work at the Baxter Building." So I'm like, who is this working at the Baxter Building? What? And anyway, she wants to come and work for Roxxon, and they talk about the squid explosion. And then you do... Dude, I thought she was also flirting with him. So I thought she was older than when it turns out you find out this is Jessica Drew. She's sucking on a pen and being discretion is one of my best qualities. And I'm like, dude, who is this woman?
She really is playing it up. And every panel, she's playing with her hair.
Yeah, she's like doing stretches and whatnot.
Or she's biting her lip, or she's
leaning over the table.
Yeah. She's playing him like a fiddle. And I have a theory, because this pen that she's holding and playing with and sucking on,
it's a microphone.
It has a little like silly eraser guy on the end or something, and I think that's a hidden mic.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's a good catch. See, dude, we are good at this job. Okay?
That's right.
Speaking of which, I didn't take notes for my issue today. Sorry, listeners. So I'm reading it, kind of. So they end up talking with the interviewer, and she gets the job, which you, of course, expected. And then we find out at the end that, well, I don't know. She gives a little sly smile also, which I didn't think anything of, except in the last issue, Captain Marvel also gave a little sly smile.
Well,
so and those two things are not related to each other, but they're still interesting enough that that there's a panel of both of them, right?
Yeah. Well, you're missing the context behind the smile, which I really like. Is
it there's a scar or something on her chin?
No, I don't know what that is.
Because that was also another thing where I'm like, who do we know that has a scar on? Who is this woman?
No, what brings on the smile is he's like, well, I've got a good feel for you, and I think you'll make a good member of our team, but is there anything else that you want to add? And she's like, all right, you got me. I confess. I'm Spider-Man. And she gives this little smile, and then he's like, all right, welcome to the team, because he takes it as a joke.
Yeah, that's right. So at that point, I did know that she was Jessica Drew when she said that.
Right, because she's not kidding.
Yeah.
But it plays like a joke.
Yeah. But it does, the smile does kind of emphasize the scar almost, and I was like, when did Jessica Drew get, like, cut on the face? Anyway, it's not that big of a deal. Unless you had an answer. No,
superheroes are just always getting punched.
They are always getting punched. So at the Triskelion, we're back at Project Pegasus. Marvel watchers might know that that's the place from the Avengers that Loki was at. And Carol Danvers is trying to see what's going on with Captain Marvel and Rick Jones up in space. And she's like, are they fighting? What's happening? And they say, it looks like they're just talking. And
John.
What?
If another powerful extra-dimensional creature shows up, do you fight them or do you them?
Nothing. This is very Invincible to me. This reminds me of like Alan and Mark when they like fly up and just have conversations.
It is.
So Rick Jones is like, they're both like, who are you? And Rick Jones is like, I was sent by the Watchers. They're an alien group. They told me to protect the coming destruction. And Captain Marvel's like, okay, who are the Watchers? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, what's the coming destruction? He's like, I don't know that either. Sorry. But
these guys are useless.
Yeah, I know. These guys kind of are useless. But Captain Marvel's like, okay. And Rick Jones is like, you don't believe anything I'm saying, do you? And Captain Marvel's like, no, I think the problem is I do believe what you're saying. I'm just like trying to process it all. And as he's like thinking, he just like, you can tell like something happens to him, but we don't see anything happen. And he just like sits down all of a sudden and he says, I've been compromised. And then he immediately transforms into like a big bug Captain Marvel creature. And he starts fighting Project Pegasus. And he rams into it and blows it up. Zach, what happened here?
I don't know. I mean, this is another example of the art being so cool.
This is an ultimate mystery.
That is the ultimate mystery, really. He's not even human anymore, or like humanoid. He looks like one of those deep sea fish, that like has the little light in front of it.
Yeah.
He's pretty creepy, but he's still got all of his armor on. He seems
his
to know
armor like transformed around him. So, dude, yeah, it's very weird. I want to know how this happened to him. I hope they tell us.
It's like abundantly clear that he is not in control of himself and doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah. I like that he did say, I've been compromised right before it happened. This is a good guy. As someone who has their personality based on all the pop culture that they watched, I really relate to Captain Marvel.
You think so? Do you feel like you frequently just get overcome and taken over by someone else?
A big bug man.
What does that say about you, John?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel for the guy. I can't say I relate to him.
Yeah. What, you don't like Captain Marvel? It seemed like a fun guy.
I say I feel for him. I can't relate to getting controlled and turned into a bug man.
That's not what I said I can relate to.
Oh, okay.
So Peter and Jessica Drew are still swinging around, and this is where Jessica Drew's kind of catching Peter up with what's going on. She's like, so he says, so you're a Roxxon employee? And she's like, yes, I'm Dr. Julia Carpenter. And he's like, that's not your name. And she's like, I know, my name's Jessica Drew. And he's like, no, your name is Parker. You're a clone of me. And she's like, no, I'm Jessica Drew. And he's like, no, you're actually Julia Carpenter. It's pretty fun. These guys have a good give and take.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're both world-class quippers.
They are. They've got good chemistry.
I just love them both so much.
Is your Funko Pop out for this episode?
Oh, it's not a Funko. It's an actual Jessica Drew action figure.
Oh, nice. What? Have we seen her in the other suit? Was that earlier?
What other suit?
There's a yellow suit next to her.
Oh, they do a stupid thing to get you to buy more toys where, there's like 5 others that if you get them, they have a piece of the Hobgoblin. So this is like his chest. And then if you buy, I don't know, a Kitty Pryde action figure, you might get his head. And if you buy, whatever, you get his arm.
Well, that stinks. Because now you can't even display the Jessica Drew without the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, it's
body
fine.
armor in that.
I don't even think about it anymore.
It's fine. So we're at the Baxter building. Jessica Drew and Peter are swinging around. And she says, Peter gets the hard part. She's like, okay, now that I'm in at Roxxon, that's my part of the plan. And Peter's like, what do I do? And she's like, you get the hard part. And then the scene cuts. And at the Baxter building, Sue is investigating what all has happened here. She's just kind of looking around. Ben says she's in science mode. They're kind of trying to talk to her. And he's like, she can't even hear you right now. She's in science mode. And Nick Fury is in his disguise. And Johnny's like, come on, Nick, this is your disguise? Because it's just a white guy with an eye patch. And Nick's like, what's wrong with this disguise? And Johnny's like, well, besides the racial issue, you have an eye patch. And Nick's like, I like the eye patch. That's pretty fun, too.
He's like, lots of people have eye patches. And Johnny says, not really.
Lots of people have eye patches. Like this person I'm pretending to be. And Nick Fury, world famous super spy.
But he literally is in the form of like the original white Nick Fury from the main universe.
Yeah. It's good fun.
When I was a kid and I would read comics, I never knew who that was. I thought it was Reed Richards because that's the only other person who has like brown hair on the top and then white streaks on the side.
It does kind of look like him.
And I was always confused. I was like, why does Reed Richards have an eye patch and a gun?
Reed Richards broke bad.
Yeah.
God,
I was an idiot when I was 6.
So the Fantastic Three and Nick Fury are trying to figure out what happened here. And Sue is like, this thing was like the perfect monster. It just became here, it attacked us, and then it exploded and died. So we like couldn't study it. And
she says some sort of pan-dimensional teleportation. So exactly like Watchmen.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And the guy who sent it made himself a target so that no one would be suspicious, just like Watchmen.
Oh, we've got to ask Bendis about this.
And he's the smartest man on Earth, just like Watchmen.
He's been caught red-handed.
And all the heroes are chasing their tails on a mystery that's been fabricated, just like Watchmen.
This is interesting. I wonder how this is going to end.
Just like Watchmen.
I wonder if it ends with the guy writing a big journal and dropping it off in a newspaper.
Maybe. We'll have to see.
So Nick is like, you don't think it teleported here? Because Susie's not convinced that it was teleported there. And she's like, I don't know. I was thinking maybe it just kind of like appeared. Maybe it grew. And Nick Fury says, out of the walls. No, Nick Fury, you f***ing dunce. It didn't grow out of the walls. And Sue is like, no, I thought maybe like the computer, like the technology.
You know, it's a lab.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, this whole building is a science lab, Nick.
And Ben's like a computer virus. And she says, not like a computer virus. Maybe, and then they get cut off. I was just getting interested in this. And something like explodes into, the Captain Marvel bug explodes into the Baxter building. And quickly Sue is able to give everyone a force field as they're like falling down. And Rick Jones shows up. And he's like, guys, I need help. And they're like, what is happening here? And he's like, I can't fight this thing. And they're like, so you brought him to the Baxter building? And he says, I needed superheroes. I thought of the Baxter building. We have to fight this thing. And Ben is like, time to test these new powers, baby. And he transforms and he has a big punch with the bug. And
I like that this is consistent with how Rick Jones's powers appeared last time, where it's like he doesn't really have control over them. It's just he'll think like, oh, I don't know, seafood. And then all of a sudden they're like in Maine. And they're like, how'd that happen? He's like, I don't know. I just kind of thought I wanted something, you know?
Oh, so I figured he like flew to the Baxter building and this thing.
No, he was fighting this thing in Wyoming and like had the thought in his head, I wish there was other superheroes here to help me. And then teleported himself and Marvel to the Baxter building without really meaning to.
Well, that's a cool power. Oh, yeah, that's how they got to the Project Pegasus last time.
Yes. And then that's how he got home, too. He's like, I want to go home. And then they're just in Queens again.
Oh, yeah. That's some cool powers.
Sort of. He's got to get it under control.
What do we think of this one?
I liked this one a little bit better than mine. Maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah, I thought this one, the stuff you said about yours, I kind of thought about this one. I was like, not much happened. Kind of just like filler, you know. And then we finally do get like a scene that's like moving the plot forward where they're like figuring out like what the monster is and how it got created. And then we're like fighting Bug Captain Marvel again, which doesn't seem that relevant to the major issue.
Right.
Yeah.
But despite the slow moving issues today, overall, I am still very high on this storyline.
I'm hooked.
It's still got a lot of potential, right? There's ways to go. They can land this plane and it be absolutely fine.
Definitely. And I'm guessing that they did.
I mean, I'm pretty open about the fact that I like it, right? I don't know what general consensus is on it.
Just the fact that they're still like, in a way, like continuing the story that they were like putting in place, you know, all those years ago.
It does have ramifications for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Out of a rating scale, how about out of 10 artifacts being guarded by people who don't know what they are?
This is a 6.5 artifact issue.
This is I'll probably give this one a 6. I think I'm going to leave the half point off and go a little lower.
Okay.
Yeah. But still fine.
Yeah.
What's next week?
Next week, finishing up Ultimate Mystery with issues 3 and 4.
And then we go into like another 4-issue run, right?
That's right. You're a vet at this now.
What's that one called? Ultimate I don't know. Ultimate something, I bet.
Ultimate Doomsday. Oh, I think it's Ultimate Doom.
Ultimate. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Ultimate
because they
Doom.
call it Ultimate Doom in a universe where Doom is dead, and that's not the villain of the story.
Right.
These guys, they're probably trying to throw people off, huh? They're going to sell more issues. Oh, is Dr. Doom alive? Ultimate Doom.
Oh, this is issue 1. I got to pick that up.
Yep. Okay, cool. Any more
Very
Spider-Manning today?
I don't think so, but I think we've got some Captain America stuff. I'm dying to hear your take on this movie and how you would fix it.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a big ask.
Well, you said you had some script suggestions that they could have done.
I mean, I do, but that, what did you think of it?
I think your review from last week was pretty spot on. It's very clearly
it was fine.
It's a 3-act story where every act feels like it was directed and written by a different person, and they get progressively worse, and then it's just kind of missing an end.
Yeah. I've liked it less as time has gone on. I still think it's fine, and the action is good. It's cool watching Falcon fly around and do stuff. It's a very cinematic hero.
You mean Captain America?
God damn. That was rough. I'm going to get canceled.
I liked Sam as Captain America. I think he, as bad as the movie itself might have been, I think he kind of earned his place if he's the new leader of the Avengers and face of the franchise. I don't hate that.
I mean, he's fine. Like I said, I didn't mean to say Falcon, right? I should have said Sam or Captain America. But he's not doing Captain America fighting. He's doing Falcon fighting. He's flying around. He's doing stuff with his wings, right? That's cool to watch. He could have been doing some more Captain America fighting, because that was also really cool to watch. Winter Soldier stuff. But anyway, I just don't think that I don't think that they gave enough of the qualities that make Captain America an awesome hero to him. They just put him in a Captain America outfit, and they were like, here's the new Captain America movie, But Captain America has certain defining qualities that I'll get to it in my rewrite, that I think that they should have focused more on, versus a big story about Thunderbolt Ross is a redemption character now. This movie is going to be about the redemption of Thunderbolt Ross for some reason, Yeah.
It was baffling at times, what direction they were trying to take it, because in the first part of the arc, right, the first part of the movie, he's almost treated as a Trump character, right? It's hard to not see the parallels to the real world when they put something close to it there. And then when they try and move away from it, it just makes it more confusing, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not doing The Boys where it's intentional and they're leaning into it. They're kind of tiptoeing, right? So then the message gets muddied.
Well, and apparently they have there were so many rewrites and so many, because they don't want it to be too close to real world events. And they changed up Falcon and the Winter Soldier the Disney Plus show also, because it was supposed to like be a pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, so they like rewrote the story, and I like don't understand that. Why would you not want your things to be like, isn't that ideal when you can write something that's reflective of the world without even trying to? That's when it's like good,
when you're ahead of the zeitgeist.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they're dickless, spineless executives and focus group driven company. It's sad. They don't want to stand for anything.
Yeah, and that's like part of the problem is because now you are making a movie with Captain America who, like, standing for something is like how you would describe him. Like Captain America will always do what he thinks is right, and I don't know. Instead, you have Sam like working for the government and like being pals with the president and trying to, Thunderbolt Ross is a good guy. I believe in him.
Yeah.
I just, it's all fine. It's not like a huge problem, but it's just boring,
It was like, a centrist thesis statement, It's like, hey, a lot of people do bad things, but also like, they might be an elected official and we have to respect the process.
Which is kind of what like Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended up being also. He's
right.
like, listen, there's good people on both sides here.
Very much so. I forget what I was even going to say. Also, Sabra in it was like a choice,
Oh, that's like the Israeli soldier or something.
Yeah.
They're so gutless. They like put it in, make one mention of it, and then just like for no reason at all. I just don't get the decisions.
And I thought she was going to be like an antagonist at first, and then it was just so strange. It was a very strange movie.
She's just nothing, Like she's just like boring. I see, they really wanted. They just like tried to make Winter Soldier again, but they made everything slightly worse. And I'll say slightly as a compliment to how good Sam is, Anthony Mackie, compared to Steve Rogers. He's only slightly worse, but then you have him run around with Falcon, who is a much worse, right? This new Falcon is much worse than Sam is in Captain America. And then you're downgrading from Scarlett Johansson to whoever this other woman is that is fine, but she's too small to be like a super soldier. She's just too small. She's not the head of security for the president of the United States. Dude, I thought she was like a child the first time she was on screen.
Hey, she puts all 90 of her pounds behind those punches.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, take politics out of superhero movies. They should just be for entertainment. But when you make a Captain America movie called Brave New World about the president of the United States being behind some cover-up operation, and Captain America's black, and the president was behind some shady shit in the past, and then you make it non-political, you go out of your way to make it non-political, you've shot yourself in the foot.
Oh shoot! I was just about
I think it's very clear there was like warring sides, in the creative process. If there was a room of like 10 people who did most of the lifting on making this story what it was, I feel strongly that like I would vibe with 5 of them, and then the other 5 I would disagree completely with. And they just got a compromise of both, because there's moments where I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I was hoping to see.
Exactly what I was going to say. There are plenty of good moments in the movie. They're just like, it's just boring overall, and you kind of know what's going to, like, the main crux of the movie, and this is like kind of a joke, like you can make anything fun, but it's like, America's got a treaty with other countries. Captain America, you gotta save the treaty. What? And shoot, that's not what I was gonna say, but I thought of that. But anyway, yeah, it was just kind of boring. Okay, do you want to hear my fun, awesome storyboard of the new Captain America movie?
I've been waiting for a week to hear this.
Dude, this is so funny. Look, my phone won't turn on.
Oh.
And
well,
I
that's
know
not
it's
good.
not, and I know it's not dead. I just looked at it 2 seconds ago.
Oh my god, dude.
Let's take a chill pill.
And you were just like last week, you were like, my phone's not working. You've been having some issues with it.
Maybe I need a new one. Okay, we'll try and talk about some other Captain America things before we get into the rewrite. What was another? I was gonna say something else.
Oh, the post-credit scene was the goofiest thing. I mean, it was like exactly what I think we've talked about before. You know, like when we talk about the post-credit scenes, you just have someone say something like, "Your doom is coming," or or you know, you think you're the only one. Blah blah blah. You know,
yeah.
It was like silly in the same way the Watchmen, or not Watchmen. It was silly in the same way the Kingsman scene where Hitler steps out from the shadows and gets a big reveal was silly. You know, it's like, are we really doing this?
Could you hear that?
Did you name your Alexa Hitler?
No, she can't hear you. One of the cats must have hit the vacuum.
That
was the vacuum talking. Yeah, the leader was just kind of ridiculous. He's just like really good at statistics, so you know, but he didn't really have much of a plan. I mean, he just like got himself captured at the end and went back to jail.
Get him in the Colts analytics department. Hey Shane, if you go for it here, there's a 59% chance you win the game.
Oh, nice. Okay, my phone is turning back on. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it turned off, but I'm hoping it turns back on so we can do my super awesome rewrite. Oh, it needs to like do some stupid update. Okay, we'll get to it at the end. We'll talk about other stuff. Oh, Zach, ask me if I sent the shirts out to our listeners.
Hey, John, did you send those shirts out to the listeners?
Zach, the listeners will get the shirts when they fix this damn door.
Great.
No, I have not. But but as everyone knows, I am a man of my word. So I will get them out by next episode. I will do it this weekend, actually. I've got a lot of stuff I have to do today.
AKA Mr. Beast outbid you all and John reneged on his word.
Definitely, that happened. Yeah, if people send in some emails offering money before these shirts get delivered, I'm just joking. Depends on how much.
Dude, we could make more.
Yeah, Zach and I talked about that. Maybe if there's a thriving appetite for some of these shirts, we can actually try to like make some if people would actually want to buy them. But these two homemade ones are going out for free this weekend.
So for everyone else, let us know if you want a shirt with Captain America's shield on the front and you've got to do better, Senator, on the back.
And I was thinking maybe we could even try to have some little logo of ours on, just some sort of, I don't know. That'd be a lot of logos.
Right. Why don't we just make it like
So
a
maybe
NASCAR
not.
uniform, Put the Better Business Bureau on there.
Yeah. Okay, I've got my notes pulled up. The Cap rewrite.
Rewrite version 82.
This is Mark 1. This did not get very much thought put into it. It took about 10 minutes pacing around my house as I was writing it. So, the premise of this movie is the same. You can't rewrite the whole thing, right? This is going to take what they have and it's going to make it better. So when Marvel's listening to this, maybe next time they're about to put out a movie, they give us a call. They're like, how can we fix this? Okay. So we know that the leader has mind control powers. Zach, stop me at any time. Okay. Please. So he's got mind control powers, right? And he's got Harrison Ford's scan because they had that big talk earlier where Sam's like, why does he have your brain? And Harrison Ford's like, because I was dying. And so Harrison Ford should think that it's because he's like needs to save him and he's making these things. But actually, why should it happen? It's so he can control the Red Hulk when he hulks out. Isn't that better?
Yeah. Also, I'm going to stop you because you said to.
Please.
If he can control the president, he should have him release him and then control the Hulk. And he's a free man and he has a Hulk president working for him.
Yes. Well, we get to that, kind of. Okay. So in the second act on the boat, we just have to have Harrison Ford Hulk out. We cannot only have Harrison Ford Hulk out in the end scene of the movie when they advertised it as the twist of the movie. And the movie is not set up to know that that's going to happen. That's like the twist of the movie is like he's giving him pills that force him to Hulk out, right? But the problem is we already knew that that was going to happen. So he's just got to Hulk out earlier in the movie and be a bigger part of this.
Or they should have withheld it in the marketing.
Or that. Yep. But I still think it needs to happen twice. It's just how, right? The hero has to lose, then he has to win. So on the boat, Harrison Ford hulks out, I don't really know what happens. They're trying to fix a treaty or something, but Harrison Ford's hulking out. Maybe they know it's Harrison Ford and it's the president. Maybe it's not. But anyway, Captain America is about to lose the fight. Or I'm sorry, Captain America doesn't lose the fight. He and Falcon, they've got the Hulk pinned down. And then the Hulk just like jumps away. And we're like, wait, where did he go? Well, he's going to break the leader out of prison, But we don't really know that yet. So anyway, here's a key part. Captain America doesn't lose the fight, but someone dies. Maybe it's even Joaquin who gets instead of being in a coma, he dies. Or maybe it's just a random bystander or something. And he has to die because Captain America isn't strong enough to save him. Or like fast enough or something, right? He could have saved him if he was a little bit stronger. Do you know why that's important, Zach?
Internal turmoil. It's one of the forms of conflict, man versus self.
There you go. I see you're better at this than I am. I want him to think about taking the super soldier serum. Okay, so now Sam goes and talks to Bucky.
Did they actually have it? I can't even remember or keep up with the MCU, but wasn't it like lost?
Dude, they've like perfected it at this point, right?
Then why doesn't everyone have it?
I don't know. They should. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have it, right? They gave it to John Walker, found some vials. It's been perfected enough that at this point, I think it's replicable.
I also then think, I mean, I get the, narratively, no, you don't need it, Sam. But realistically, Captain America should always have super soldier serum. Like, if I'm a citizen, I want the strongest Captain America protecting me.
And so Sam talks to Bucky outside of Joaquin's. I know we're getting close to 11 and you have to go sort of soon. So we're going to have to kind of, make sure this doesn't go too long. But so, and instead of Bucky being like, Falcon is like, dude, how many alien invasions did Steve Rogers stop? And as soon as he says that, my first thought is, you are a hero in your own right, Sam. You stopped those invasions too, right? You fought Thanos. He was the first one through the portal, Zach.
That's true. Wait, wasn't Black Panther?
He said on your left, and then Black Panther walked through, and then Sam flew through. So you're right.
Yeah.
But like Sam is a hero, So, and Bucky should say that. He should be like, look, man, you did this also. You've done all these different things. You don't need the super soldier serum. And then he should tell him a story about Bucky like losing someone because he wasn't able to like save them. Or no, I'm sorry. I messed up. Bucky's got to tell him a story about saving someone because of his like metal arm or something like that, where he's like, look, I wouldn't have been able to, but I was able to. So he's like, you don't need the serum, Sam, but it will help you become the best version of like Captain America. And Sam's like, damn, you're right. I need to have the super soldier serum, not because I need it, but because it's better. Right? I'm Captain America. And like you said, Captain America should have the serum. Okay.
I mean, like so here's the difference between like in a real world, you would want Captain America to have the serum, but I get that narratively there's something about saying, you know, this is a Captain America who is a black man and he doesn't even need the serum to get stuff done. I get the narrative, appeal of him being a regular guy.
I don't. Especially if you're going to give him all these like Iron Man suits from Wakanda anyways, So we meet up with the Hulk. He's broken the leader out of prison. And, he's just got to have better motivation. I don't know what it is, but the leader's motivation cannot be just to embarrass Harrison Ford.
I'm going to ruin his relationship with his daughter, who's already not talking to him.
And we don't even know who that was. That was from like 20 years ago. Nobody watched The Incredible Hulk.
It was Liv Tyler.
Yeah, I know. We watched it. But a lot of people are not even going to know, He's got to want to like run the world. So maybe he like is going to run Harrison Ford behind the sidelines as the president. I don't know. So the final act, they're going to break into the White House. That way Marvel still gets their money shot of the Hulk in front of the White House and everything. And Falcon and the Hulk fight. Of course, he has super soldier serum at this point.
You mean Captain America?
What did I say?
Falcon.
No, I did not.
You're telling on yourself, dude.
Sorry, man. That's the movie's fault. Okay? If they had put in a good Captain America, like with these things that I'm about to say, okay, Sam needs to be getting his ass beat and it needs to be looking bad. And he doesn't need to say, I can do this all day, but he needs to show it on his face. Just like Steve Rogers did in the Endgame fight when Thanos' army was like there. He didn't have to say anything, but you knew it. And we don't get a moment like that with Sam, where he is like broken and lost and he stands up to fight anyways. That's a key part of Captain America's like, traits.
Well, I think they tried to do that and it turned into, hey, big guy, you don't want to do this. This isn't you.
And I do get that also because like Sam is like a counselor, so they wanted to have him like talk him down at the end. But I don't think that works. So along with that, they totally messed up by not playing Captain America's theme at all. So at some point also, when Sam stands up heroically, we have to get just like a couple notes of the Captain America theme, maybe like blended with the Falcon theme or something. And a lot of ums here. As a salesperson who would try not to do that, I'm catching myself. So he takes him to the tree park, right? And he's like, look, this is where your daughter is. It doesn't work because they have to fight. But then Liv Tyler actually shows up and is able to talk Harrison Ford down. If we even want to do this thing where we are redeeming Harrison Ford. But that's what they did in the movie. But they needed to have Liv Tyler there to make that like a good scene, not just have like a little petal like land on his hand. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, this is where my daughter is. We already knew that.
And then that would be so much better than him in prison telling her we have a rain check on that walk. Like the walk is her talking him down and then him getting taken away in custody.
Yeah. So Liv Tyler shows up, he hawks out, they stop, they actually have to go and stop the leader. He doesn't just turn himself in after all this happens. Maybe they have to capture him or something. And then here's the best part, Zach.
Ooh, can I?
Part. It's the post-credit scene.
No, can I work on how they stop the leader?
Yes, I was hoping you would jump in, and like I said, this is like 10 minutes of my life.
So you do, a dual thing. It's like the end of Empire, or it's like the end of Return of the Jedi, where you can't just have one climax. You have to have multiple battles on multiple fronts. So
it would be nice if the Hulk showed up at some point in this movie with all of the Hulk's villains. So maybe we could incorporate the Hulk into stopping the leader.
I think they're at some point going to have to break Red Hulk out and have him fight Green Hulk. But that's not where I'm going with this.
Okay.
You still let Captain America fight the Red Hulk, right? And this is his opportunity to let Phoenix and Sabra, if we even want to use her, and let them earn their keep and say the leader is simultaneously going to go blow something up or take over our defense system or whatever. You guys got to go stop him.
Perfect.
I'll deal with this.
Yep.
Let them show us that they're heroes in their own right.
That is better. That is what you do need. You need all of your people to be doing something in the final fight. You're right. That'd be perfect. They've got to go stop what the leader has planned. Sam has to go and stop the leader now that the Hulk has de-hulked. Like that?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay.
Well, while Sam is fighting the Hulk, they're fighting the leader. They're in two different places at the same time.
That's good also. It would make them feel like better heroes instead of just like total sidekicks.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, you rewatch Winter Soldier, Sam is a full-fledged character in that. He does a lot. I mean, he is not just like there for the ride. He has like plenty of good lines. He's the first person you see in the movie. He has the last line in the movie. Like, he deserved better in this,
It's crazy to me that they left him off the poster of that movie.
Winter Soldier?
It's just Captain America, Bucky, Natasha, and Fury.
Well, he wasn't in the movie yet. We didn't know who he was.
I guess.
Okay, so it ends. Obviously, the least realistic part of this whole movie was the president, taking responsibility for the things that he's done. That would
facing consequences.
That would never happen. So let's keep Harrison Ford, the Red Hulk, as president. Maybe people don't even know that it was him.
Folks, I could stand on Fifth Avenue and turn into Red Hulk and not lose any votes.
But here's the post-credit scene. So the middle credit scene is something with the leader actually saying something important. Like, tell us something specific. There's heroes from different universes coming. Robert Downey Jr. is Dr. Doom. I calculated the probabilities, right? Or just don't have him say anything, because there's no reason to say something that like nothing,
I'd love him to get a Baron Zemo moment. So at the end of Civil War, when they're like, your plan failed miserably, and he's like, well, did it? Because I broke up the Avengers.
Yes, that would have been good.
Him say something like,
he's supposed to be the smartest man in the world.
Hey, I successfully took down the president. Or, you think you got all of the missile codes from me, or something like, or something that keeps him as a threat.
And maybe he like still has control of the president. He's still president, right?
Or let us get a tease that like he's controlling the guards. Like, watch him get some special treatment, and then the guard loses their memory of that or something.
Smart. Okay, but here's the best part. This is the post credit scene, when there's usually a more fun one. So it's young Steve Rogers sitting with Bucky and Sam, and he's like giving Sam a little bit of shit for taking the super soldier serum. He's like, oh wow, so you took the super soldier serum. I gave you the shield, knowing you didn't have superpowers. And he's like, you can't get drunk now, right? These are just like examples. And Sam's like, well, Bucky didn't tell me that. And Bucky's like, oh, So, but they're all three like bullshitting a little bit. because that would be good. Steve Rogers is back. Everyone would freak out. They'd be like, why is he back? Why is he young again? There could be a million different reasons, right? It could be another universe. He could have like been de-aged. They don't have to explain it. Like there's enough reasons that you'd be like, oh, okay, it's one of the reasons he's young again, right? Anyway.
My only hesitation with that is I think it would undermine Sam in his first movie as the actual Captain America, because then everyone's just going to be waiting for Steve to come back and take the mantle.
Well, so I have in here it's young, but I was thinking this could also be old Steve, and it would be just as good.
I think old Steve would work better.
If this was old Steve with the two of them.
That would be a fun little...
Okay.
That would have the same weight, but without undermining Sam,
okay.
I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
Better movie.
Dude, why aren't we in the movie business?
I don't know. Okay. Dude, if we need to just save Invincible for next week, we can.
Yeah, let's save that, because then we'll have more Invincible to talk about.
We will. And we're getting some good stuff now in it.
Yeah.
Okay, you got anything else? This was a quick wrap up for the webheads.
It was. I've got
I hope they enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't just me talking for like 15 minutes.
No way, dude. You had some like good ideas. Definitely better than what we got.
What's the jam of the week?
Rare by Man Overboard, because I'm going to see the singer of Man Overboard at this house party tonight.
And my jam of the week will be Man Overboard by Blink-182.
Great song.
Yeah.
Love it. I think that's actually where they get their name from.
Is it?
Yeah, because they're also a pop punk band.
Cool. Well, that's it. We've done it.
Another good one in the books.
Definitely. Look at this. We've got good Ultimate Universe to talk about next week. We're getting to some awesome storylines, and we've got big Invincible storylines that we're really just building up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you to Ian Hickey for the music and Alyssa Seaman for the artwork. And thank you all for listening and leaving us a review or a comment. You can find us the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else you find podcasts. And you can leave us a message on Instagram at First Read Podcast. Send us an email at firstreadspidey@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast. See you next week.
See ya.